welcome to today's webinar From Agriculture to Agri-Tech, brought to you by CropIn Technologies. Our speaker for today is Mr. Bhavesh Barod. He's the AVP Sales and Business Development at CropIn. He'll be taking us through how the future is going to be, how we predict the future to be, by the impact of Agri-Tech. How different players in the agri ecosystem are benefiting from the different products that we have at CropIn. This is the first part of a two-part series, and we'll be sharing the link to register for the second part after this webinar to all our guests today. Thank you for joining us. Before we begin, a couple of housekeeping points. For the first 40 odd minutes of this webinar, everybody would be on mute. We would take the questions post that, but please feel free to raise your questions in the chat box to your right. We'll be more than happy to answer most of your queries during this session, but in the interest of time, if we can't get to your question, we will respond back via email. Enjoy the session. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you everyone for joining us today. In this webcast, I would like to talk about how technology is changing the way farming is done, especially where farm size is small and fragmented. How technology is helping various stakeholders in agri ecosystem, specifically how CropIn's cutting-edge solutions are helping players in agri value chain such as farming companies, seed and other input companies, financial institutions, insurance providers, food companies, fresh fruits and vegetable exporters, and farm equipment companies. Let me first show you some important facts and some major and common challenges faced by farmers today across all regions. So by the middle of the century, we are going to be around 10 billion plus people, and combined this number with rapid urbanization, we are going to need to double the farm production. And we are going to have to do this in a smart and sustainable way that will provide food, feed, and fiber to this growing demand. Now, let's see what are the most common challenges faced by any farmer today. So some of them are unpredictable weather, degrading soil, increasing pest infestation and virus attacks, excessive use of harmful chemicals and fertilizers, lack of data to predict yield and provide traceability, non-availability of funds, and these factors leading to highly unsustainable agribusiness. Now let me introduce you to CropIn Technology Solutions Private Limited. CropIn is an agri-tech company providing solutions to promote data-driven farming by agri-businesses around the world. Our solutions help you to analyze, interpret, and gain real-time insight into project spanning over large geographies, enabling you to take corrective decisions on time. In India or any developing countries, there is a huge scarcity of agriculture data, as the space has not been digitized yet. We at CropIn intend to bridge this information gap in agri value chain. CropIn solution is a cloud-based system which takes an integrated and analytical approach to farming. Our highly advanced yet simple to use tools provide a real-time view of the farms, complete geotagged information about the farms, field operations, people, and processes. It also enables simplified control of complete farms, network scattered over geographies through a single click or a single touch of a button. The benefits of such a system is actually realized when it directly connects the business strategy to the field operation through detailed analytics using field data. We have enabled digitization, traceability, compliance and sustainability, farmer advisory, task monitoring and scheduling, audits, analytics, and reporting across geographies and 70 plus crops with our 125 plus client partners. Our system, our solution has improved the top line of agri-businesses by over 20% through better farmer retention, marketability, compliance, and sustainability, and the bottom line by over 30% through connected operations, improved adherence to best practices, and tackle unforeseen circumstances. Now, moving on, we all know, as you can see on the screen, what have been the old growth drivers. We all know that natural and man-made resources, land mass, and machinery has been major contributing factor of past few decades in growth of agri sectors. Farmers have really engaged themselves in intricate and relentless farming techniques. Now, as a new growth drivers, what we are witnessing is that data, people, and platform are becoming new generation growth drivers and crucial to successful and sustainable farming in agri enterprise. Data has always been and will continue to be single most factor in making any business, and more specifically agri business, a success. Imagine your customer in some part of the world buying a packet of fresh fruits gets to see, just by scanning a QR code on his phone, from where this is coming from, who was a farmer, what has gone into cultivating such sweet fruits. That will give your customers confidence that this is 100% safe for me and my family's consumption. And that is possible with the data from your fields. This is just a simple example of data-driven farm to fork traceability.
So now let's come to who are the stakeholders who can make the most of these data sets. So I see we have government agencies, agri input companies, seed companies, irrigation companies, and farm equipment companies, food processing companies, contract farming companies, financial institutions, and insurance providers. So these are some of the stakeholders involved in agri value chain, and who can use the data sets generated at the farm level effectively to take better and informed decisions. Now let's go further and understand what does data mean to each of these stakeholders. So now let's start with government agencies. We see government is doing everything in its capacity to help farmers become successful in their agripreneurship activities. Government and various other agencies associated with government or affiliated with government are helping farming communities in various areas, like helping them with financial security, helping them follow the right agricultural practices, helping them share the right knowledge at the right time, helping them assimilate the weather information, and so on and so forth. So government agencies are mostly interested in knowing the land size or the data of area under cultivation. This helps in yield forecasting and predicting arrivals of a particular commodity and plan for shortage or excess, if any. It also helps government bodies plan fertilizer production, crop life cycle data. So now this helps plan and execute seed production programs, soil fertility data. So now this is very important. A lot of governments across have special bodies, a team amongst themselves, which are dedicatedly agencies, which are dedicatedly working on improving the health of the soil, helping farmers understand what is the health of their soil and what they should do to improve it further, and how they should take care of soil. So soil fertility data provides the government institutions with information to guide farmers with advisories on crop selection and management based on soil health. Land moisture levels. This data set can be used to assess the demand for water in a particular area vis-a-vis the availability through natural resources. So, friends, we saw how these data sets are helping government agencies. Now let's move on to more commercial businesses who are aggressively working with farming communities and making the most of the data which is generated. So now let's understand what agri input companies are doing and how technology is helping them capture the right data and at the same time help their farmers. So agri input companies are interested in knowing land under cultivation. So basis this, input companies use this data to forecast demand and plan production while also being able to identify areas of high scales potential for specific inputs. Soil data. Of course, agri input companies are definitely interested in knowing how any farm's soil is, and basis that they can recommend exact amount of input required for the farm in question. So they want to know about macronutrients, micronutrients, nitrogen levels, carbon content, and such other data inputs. Seed variety data. This helps in scheduling variety specific inputs. So if a company has data on the seed varieties being predominantly used in a particular region, they can stock those inputs as required. Fertilizer and pesticide input data. It can be very insightful for an input company to know what fertilizer or pesticide has been used on a farm season after season. Weed, pest, and disease data. Information on what weed, pest, or disease may have infested the previous crops, and how farmer took a precautionary measure or a preventive control damage steps. Irrigation technique data. Some fertilizers need to be distributed through the irrigation systems in place, which is called as fertigation. And of course, crop maturity and harvest data helps input companies evaluate irrigation technique data. Some fertilizers need to be distributed through the irrigation these systems are some of the data sets input companies are capturing. And of course, crop maturity and harvest data helps input companies evaluate irrigation technique data. Some fertilizers need to be distributed through the irrigation these are some of the data sets input companies are capturing. And of course, crop maturity and harvest data helps companies evaluate irrigation technique data. Some fertilizers need to be distributed through these are some of the data sets at the same time input companies are capturing. And of course, crop maturity and harvest. Now, we'll talk about seed companies. So, seed companies are mostly interested in the quality of the seeds that they are working on, and they are working with farmers, some farmer groups, where they give the seeds, and the farmer will grow that as per the specification, and it is bought back by the seed company. And in this entire process, seed company is very much interested in knowing how farmer is doing the seed production, how he is doing right from a pre-sowing stage till the harvest is taken. So they want to know everything about that particular farm on which they are working. So they want to know the soil data, they want to know the weather data, they want to know the seed variety data which they have given to the farmer, fertilizer and pesticide input data. Now this is very important for any seed company. So what kind of pesticides and fertilizers farmers are going to use, and basis this they can tweak their seed varieties, and we see a lot of genetically modified seeds which are more resilient towards certain climatic conditions. So all this data has basically helped all these successful seed companies to achieve those desired results and help farmers with such a variety of seeds. They also capture irrigation technique data, and in the end they definitely capture crop maturity and harvest data as to how much harvest was received, and at what stage the crop really matured. So all this data helps them do analysis and build their strategies accordingly. It also helps them in further research and development programs. So This is where seed companies are utilizing such data sets. Now, uh, we are talking about data, but it is also very important to understand how we are capturing this data. So we cannot have people running around in the field with pen and paper or farm diaries, or manually writing down everything. So of course that's very, very challenging task. So what we at CropIn have done is build some very simple to use mobile applications and dashboards which businesses can use, which definitely we will talk, and I will definitely highlight on that thing. So now let's move on to other stakeholders who are interested in capturing the data, who are interested in knowing more about their fields and working very closely with the farmers. So one of them is irrigation solution companies. They want to know about land size, they want to know about weather, they want to know about weed, pest, and disease. They want to know what are the existing irrigation technique, and they also want to know about farm mechanization data, and they also want to know about when the crop is getting matured, and how much harvest farmers are getting. So basis this, they can plan their irrigation systems, and they can show farmers that if they implement irrigation system, then how well it can perform and help crop perform, and at the same time increase the yields from the same amount of land. Then we have food processing companies. Of course, these companies are, starting to do a lot of backward integration, where till now these companies were more interested in buying just from the markets, open markets, or the traders or the suppliers. But now they are waking up to the idea of working directly with the farmers. So they are now building the back-end platform where they are connecting with hundreds of thousands of farmers to ensure that their requirement is procured directly from the farms and not from some markets or vendors or suppliers. And this industry is changing at a very, very fast pace when it comes to backward integration. So these companies again have started working with the farmers, and even these companies have now started employing some latest technology to understand the farms. And even these companies are taking under consideration what farmers have been doing on that piece of land, how they are sowing, what they are sowing, and they are capturing all sorts of data right from pre-sowing stage till the harvest is taken, because they also want to give end-to-end traceability, which is more famously called farm to fork traceability. They want their customers and consumers who are buying a packet of ketchup or a punnet of grapes to just scan the barcode and find out from where this punnet of grapes is coming from, and whether there were any harmful chemicals used, how much water was used, who was the farmer, from which region of the world this grapes is coming from. So such data sets are helping them to give such end-to-end traceability. Then we will talk about contract farming companies. Now, these are the companies which are taking the lead in connecting with the farmers and working very, very closely with farming communities. They are also helping farmers grow some indigenous variety of crops, some lost crops, some very specific seed varieties. CropIn is working with one of such organization in western part of the country, which is working with quite a few farmers in certain region where company is giving some very specific variety of seed, and it ensures that farmer follows every last piece of knowledge base required to cultivate that seed variety and get the maximum output. So contract farming companies definitely capture soil data. They want to know what are the macronutrients, micronutrients, pH levels, carbon content of the soil, and such other data points. Weather data is very, very important to them. They in some cases they have installed their weather stations. They are working with CropIn and getting weather information. Seed variety data, of course, they track very, very thoroughly as to what varieties of seed farmers are sowing in any particular region, and whether that variety is going to be cultivated in a final produce which will be more useful for them in their further processing. Weed and pest and disease data they are capturing very often to find out what kind of weeds, pest and disease are attacking the crop during its life cycle. Irrigation technique data. Now, contract farming companies are working very closely with the farmers, and they want to ensure that farmers do not end up putting in water where it is not required. They do not employ any such techniques of farming which is going to lead to a very unsustainable way of agriculture. So they are helping farmers understand what should be done, how it should be done, when it should be done, and things like that. So they find out what kind of irrigation practices farmer has been following, and if it is anything that is not environmental friendly, or it is going to waste a lot of water, then they are working closely with farmers to turn their fields into more environmental friendly irrigation techniques, like drip irrigation or sprinkler irrigation. They are also trying to understand how far the farm is mechanized, whether farmers are using any equipments, any modern techniques. So they capture such data. Crop maturity and harvest data, and commodity price data. So commodity price data is also important here. They want to understand what are the prevailing market rates, and what rate they should offer to farmers to make the whole activity more interesting for the farmers. Now we will talk about financial institutions. Now, when we say financial institution, it includes banks, it includes private banks and public sector banks, it includes MFIs, which is microfinancial institution, NBFCs, which is non-banking financial corporations. So all these entities make up for financial institutions, and now majority of the banks and non-banking financial corporations and all other entities are working very closely with the farming community. They are either lending in buying farm equipment machines, or they are lending to farmers and installing irrigation systems, or they are lending to farmers and buying some inputs, and various other areas. These financial institutions are playing role and connecting with farmers. So what kind of data they require? So they basically need data which helps them to do a successful evaluation of farmers profile, since not much data is available surrounding the farmer, especially in country developing nations, and especially a country like India, where in rural areas and especially in farming community, we cannot find a lot of data in terms of establishing the credit worthiness of the farmer. So there are various alternate data sources which CropIn is helping financial institutions with, like identifying the vegetation pattern on that farm in past 3 years. So we are providing them historic farm performance data. We are also helping lending institutions understand what farmer has done in past 3 years, and if he's already sown the crop, then when the crop will mature, how much tentatively yield farmer can expect in the current season. And all of this is done again by capturing some very, very critical data points, which is soil data, weather data, remote sensing and satellite imagery data, and some field level data, which includes seed variety, weed, pest and disease data, irrigation technique data. So all of this data is put together. It's and it goes through some highly algorithm systems, which then throws out the results and tells decision makers whether you should lend to this farmer or not.
So, friends, as we are discussing about our platform, our solution, which helps you in capturing data from the field. It enables your team become more efficient, helps them increase their productivity, and at the same time helping your farmer and doing the right farming activities, adopting new ways of agriculture. So, CropIn's motto is to provide you with the tools that will help you become perfectly digitized and data-driven farming organization and help accomplish your business goals. CropIn's tailor-made solutions let you track, manage, monitor, evaluate, and assess every step from input to execution, all in one place and on one single platform. With this, let us sneak into some of CropIn's offerings. So, CropIn has five major offerings catering almost every stakeholder in agri value chain. We have Smart Farm, that is a comprehensive farm management solution. Then we have N Warehouse, that is traceability, inventory, and packhouse management solution. We have Smart Sales. It's a very robust Salesforce automation and marketing and communications ROI tracking and field personnel tracking solution. Smart Risk for financial institutions and insurance providers. And Acre Square. It's our latest farmer application that we have recently launched. So today we will see a teaser of Smart Farm, its use cases and benefits. So Smart Farm is end-to-end farm digitization solution. Smart Farm will enable you to adopt data-driven farming approach and help in business decision support. Smart Farm will also help you to digitize the process of planning, monitoring, and interacting with farmers, with engaging the field team, building effective collaboration from season planning to harvest forecasting to supply chain and traceability management. Smart Farm would help in bringing transparency into operations, provide farmer advisory, solving field issues in timely manner, and build better connect with the farmers. The team would act as information collection channel who would be equipped with a Smart Farm mobile application, which is supremely user-friendly, and it has a very, very simple user experience flow. Anyone can use this application. Basically, we designed this application keeping in mind that the people who will use this application at the field level, those people might be, someone who's an agronomist, someone who's gone to college, or someone who's never even been to school. So we had to ensure the usability, the user experience is very simple and is very interactive. Most of the time, your team may not even have to type a lot of things. They will get to choose from drop-down menus. So their data capturing activity becomes extremely simple. So this way, the field team would act as information collection channel, who would be equipped with a Smart Farm mobile application to capture and advise the farmers as per project guidelines and offer a host of other services. The farmers would receive advisory through your field team, and they will also receive advisory on best package of practices suitable for the crop that they are doing, and other advisory through text messages, and bridge the information gap, helping them take timely crop care, get access to market, and increase their income generation opportunities. So some of the key features and benefits, as we can see here, are robust and flexible system for farm management, traceability and output predictability, accountable and efficient operations, standard package of practices, alert log and management for pest infestation and diseases. So let me elaborate a bit on this alert log and management. So what we have done is we have automated this entire process. What we do is with the help of your experts, we build the complete knowledge base of your expert into this mobile application. And we also build a repository of all possible images of all possible threats that could happen during the cropping season. What can possibly go wrong during the season? Let's say the farmer is doing cotton. So we consider all possible threats in terms of virus attacks or any pest infestation or unfavorable climatic conditions harming the crop. So we consider all these parameters, and accordingly we build the knowledge base with the help of your agronomy experts. And we also build in images. So it becomes easier for your advisor, the field team officer, whether he's an agronomist or whether he's someone who's never been to school. He can simply open our alert module and he can just scroll through images. He can match the image with the problem in the field, and he can see the symptoms, and he can advise to the farmer right then and there. So basically, he is not really dependent on any external support. He does not have to make any calls, or he does not have to make farmer wait for the right advisory. He can give solution right then and there. And that way, farmer can take a major control damage steps, and thereby improving their productivity and helping them control any further loss of crops. Then it also incorporates end-to-end solution, right from activity planning to input plans to alert modules or inventory management. Let's say you are giving any seeds or other inputs to your farmer, so you can manage all these inventory. You can manage all events. Let's say you are conducting farmer training programs or any product demos or anything. We are also incorporating satellite input-based advisory. It also has crop reports and insights, which is also very easy reporting on the go. Geotagging for accountability and accurate predictability, and adherence to compliance and certification. So let's say you are following GAP, which is Global Agricultural Practices, and you need to present some reports to these agencies or some government bodies. So you can simply create those forms in this application, and as per those forms, your team can capture data. So there is no manual intervention after that. You can simply download these reports from the system. And here is a quick snapshot of Smart Farm web dashboard, and on the right you can see mobile application. So with this, friends, I would like to conclude this webinar, and now let's move to question answer round, where my colleague Aditi will answer to some of the questions we have received. Thank you all for joining us today, and stay tuned for our next episode, which is coming soon. Back to you, Aditi.
Thanks, Bhavesh. So we've received a lot of interest and questions from the audience today. Thank you all for participating. We have Kunal, who's been answering most of your questions, and we have him to answer some more. So over to you, Kunal.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining our session today. It's been a great session altogether, and there was a lot of questions coming from everyone. Primarily to give you a brief background about CropIn, Our SaaS-based platforms are being used by organizations where they're driving their projects around productivity enhancements, around sustainability, around compliances. The technology is very simple. As we mentioned, there were a couple of questions coming around how the data is being captured. So we have different sources where the data is being captured. One, we have the farmers. We have an application where the farmers himself can provide information to the organizations. The second set of data source, which is the primary source for organization, is the extension network. The field team, which is either working as agronomists, as extension team members, or as supervisors, they are equipped with a mobile application, and those mobile application will have all the functionalities and all the required forms through which those data has to be captured. To give you a very basic example, like if a client is doing potato, the package of practices from the time of sowing till the time you have picked up the harvest from the crop is all depending based on the potato crops. And what the system does is it configures your crop a package of practices, your crop varieties, your activities, your crop stages, your pest and disease infestation advisories, and then your harvest based on that particular crop. So basically help you in terms of configuring the system based on your exact 100% of the needs, so that same system goes back to your field team. They capture that information. Those information on real time comes to the platform wherein the managers and the management can take a real time decision. So a typical day for a business is to know how much sowing has happened, what are the pest and disease infestation that is happening right now, how is the team performing, how much of the activities which was planned is coming, and what was the planned harvest and where the organization is in terms of achieving that. So all of those basic questions are answered on real time on the application web dashboard, which was shared at the end of the session. There were some questions around remote sensing. So that's one of the advanced features that CropIn brings to our customers is apart from the data coming from your field team on the ground situation, what we are also doing is smartly we are also getting the remote sensing information of each and every farmer. So while the field team is going and working with the mobile application, they can go and geotag the plot, they can go and survey the plot. So once they have moved around the plot and taken the area, what we do is we pull out the remote sensing information for each and every such plots, and then we assemble them together, do a lot of data science and data analytics based on that, and give you insights around how is the crop growing, what is the crop that is there on the ground, and what is the expected forecast coming from the crops. So these are some of the initial works that we have done using remote sensing. We have worked primarily with banks, insurance companies, and with basically commodity traders which are interested in those outputs. But we have also seen a lot of interest coming from farm organizations which are working with the extension team, but also are interested to know what is happening from an alternate source of data. While I'm answering these questions, you're also open to putting certain more questions. We are just looking at that chat box on the right side. We are sorry we could not open up the voice call for all of you, because then it becomes difficult for us to manage. Now coming from a CropIn perspective, we do not provide solutions directly to the farmers. All the advisories on all the package of practices is implemented through our system, and we just provide the technology. And the technology is being used across the value chain by different organizations which are into production related activities, like you see McCain, or you talk about ITC, or talk about Plexus Cotton. Then there are a set of organizations which are using it for the seed production activities. We help them with our platform. We help it with a lot of development agencies. We work with World Bank, we work with FPOs, we work with a couple of state governments. The platform is being used by them to digitize the entire extension work. Then certainly the banks and insurances is one of the sectors that we're working with, and then the output traders and the commodity businesses that is engaged with us. So these are the set of players, and if you are one of them, we would be very interested to share our presentation to you. And anyways, at the end of the session, we are also having the email IDs. Thank you all for sharing all of your email IDs, but we have a database of that as well. You can directly connect to us and send us an email directly at the email ID provided to you. And we'll be happy to answer your questions specifically on any subjects that you want us to answer. Any other questions? If you have, just ping us, and we are waiting for those questions to be answered. Around the water management, we just got a question from one of our invitees here. So water management, we are again using remote sensing. Primarily, remote sensing is able to help us predict the stress, water-related stress in different areas. And that's what we share it to our customers, that this is the stress that is increasing or decreasing with the time. So we can see the last 3 years trends, and then we can say that whether the stress this year is higher than the last year, or it's better than the last one. On the pricing model, we have it's basically a SaaS-based platform. So we want to make it very simple for our customers to use it and get benefited. So the customers will just have to have their extension network or themselves be equipped with a mobile phone. We give our applications to all of your extension networks. So while you configure your company, you can configure your extension network, your field team, then your supervisors, then your managers, and the management. And every set of different people will have a different set of login credentials, where the data are mapped based on your hierarchy, and the rest of the platform is then taken care by us. So it's a SaaS-based platform where we give you the complete web application, we give you the mobile application, we give you the dashboards for your overall analysis, we give you the MIS for your reporting analytics-based requirements, and we give you Excel-based reporting systems as well, which can be used by your field team. So it's a comprehensive application. We don't want to bother our customers with thinking about technology, thinking about software or maintenance, anything about that. We take care of all of those things. You can hassle-free way you can start using the system. Indian agriculture challenges, as asked by Amrita, there are a couple of there's a couple of challenges which is there in the Indian agriculture system. But and there are different solutions coming from different perspectives, like improving the seeds, bringing the new drip irrigation facilities. From a technology perspective, we are trying to solve this challenge by bringing the information to all of the stakeholders at the real point in time. So when you talk about the challenge of farmer, it starts off from the planning the crop. What crop should he be growing? And once he has picked up the crop, then the next challenge for him is, can I get the right seed material? Can I get the loans? Can I get an insurance? Can I know the package of practices, how this crop has to be growing? And then what is the best market for me to go and access the crop? So ideally, CropIn is giving that entire platform for them to solve the challenge which is there right now of the information not being available with the stakeholders. That was more from the farmer's perspective. When you talk about from an agribusiness on an organization perspective, which wants to work with the farmer, there is a huge information asymmetry which is there existing right now, because most of the data is captured manually or data is not existing. So our technology helps them to seamlessly connect with each and every stakeholder on the right real-time basis and have the access to information so that the decision making is done effectively. Oh, that's a nice question by Amrita. So the CropIn motivation is basically to increase per acre value. We really believe that if we increase the value of per acre, that means if the value of the acre can be increased, then every value chain participant in the agri ecosystem can benefit from that. And if you see, like the largest stakeholder for the per acre is basically the farmer. So if you increase the value of the per acre, then the farmer gets benefited. And if the farmer is getting benefited, then all the other stakeholders are going to be benefited, because if the value increases of the pie, then everyone gets a fair share and the share for everyone is increasing. So we are engaging our banks, we are engaging our insurance companies, we are engaging our input companies, we are engaging our output companies, we are engaging our development agencies like government, World Bank, IFC, all of them to come and contribute here on the platform, digitize the farmer information, and then use the information for their effective management. So our systems, there was a question by Rajesh in terms of how the system can be, helping the farmers, which is, totally rain-fed farmers. So ideally, as I said, we have a weather-based rule engine which basically predicts the upcoming weather trends of the next 7 to 14 days. And the problem of the farmer is, if they picks up a crop, does the sowing, and there is no rain coming, no follow-up rain coming, then the entire seed goes waste. And then he's already taken a debt for the particular first seed plantation, and he cannot go for the crop the next season. So in that case, what we are doing is our rule engines are giving the advices to the farmer that if there are rain-fed farmers, we say, okay, if there is a subsequent rain coming in the next 2 to 3 days time, then we say this is the right time for them to pick up the sowing. So ideally helping the farmers with all the intelligent decision-making systems through which he can plan his crop, take care of the crop, and probably get a best market is what we're doing. We are not working directly with the farmers, as I mentioned, Ravi. We are working with organizations which are working with the farmers. So it can be a government organization which we are working with. We are working with farmer producer organizations. We are working with cooperatives. So right now, any group of farmers or an organization which is working with farmer is what we work and support them with. Because what we understand, if we want to really create a value and achieve 20 million farmers by 2020, we have to first enable those organizations which are directly right now supporting the farmers. And if we can support them to be much more productive, much more proactive, much more efficient, we can really think about supporting this farmer. So our direct farmer support is not there, but we are supporting all those organizations which is working with them. I'm just looking forward to any other questions that might come. So CropIn started in 2010. We are 7 years in business. We have a very strong and a robust platform which can be leveraged by all the stakeholders. It's been every 3 months we have improved our platform. We have learned from almost 500,000 farmers on our platform. We have learned with almost like 10,000 users which are using our platform, the extension workers. So it goes on a normal improvement cycle every year. So the farm level data, as asked by Ashin, is basically owned by all our partners. We give them intelligence on top of the farm level data. So the owners of the data is those organizations which is working with the farmers. We give them additional intelligence on top of that if that is required. Drones are, there's a question by Ritesh on drones. We have used drones for collecting NDVI values but these are more for insurance space and programs. On a commercial basis, drones are not that commercially viable for agriculture purpose, but for a specific projects we can use drones for those things. Ideally, what we are doing is we are using remote sensing to forecast the crops, to check the crop health, and in terms of forecasting the yield of the crop, which is much more sustainable and fairly accurate as well. In our experience, we have worked. There's a question by Krishna that so we are working in 17 different countries. Apart from India, we are primarily focused on developing countries. We are there a lot in Asia, in Africa. We are working with large organizations with 1.4 million farmers. We are working with cotton organizations, with cashew nut organizations, with F&B organizations. We are there in Southeast Asia. We are there in a lot of countries in Southeast Asia as well as South Africa. So we are in Brazil, Peru, and a couple of countries in Europe. So that's our experience with a platform which is language agnostic, which is crop agnostic, and which can be used on a global platform is what we provide. The point of contact is there on our website. We have also shared our email ID. You can reach out to us directly. We will be very responsive in terms of addressing any of your concerns that you have. We do support multilingual as well, as the question is being asked. So because we have to support with multiple languages. We have Indian languages. We also support international languages. So we have our product in all Indian languages, plus also in other international languages like Vietnamese, Portuguese, Italian, French, and all of them. So the mobile application used by the users can be in their own language. The web application can be either in English or the language of your preference. So you can have the web application also in English or in Hindi or any other Indian languages if that is preferred. Number of crops that we have worked as of now is close to 265. So we, as I said, we are not focused on any crop, but now for a remote sensing perspective, we have 5 to 6 crops that we have done a very strong algorithms with. We can predict chickpea, we can predict soybean, we can predict cotton, we can predict potato, we can predict rice and corn. So these are the couple of crops which we have our expertise on. But no, as I said, we have a database. We are already working almost 265 crops. So as the days are progressing, we are having more and more expertise on that. There is a question on in terms of mobile network availability. Yeah, the entire application works offline as well, because in any ground situation, you will see that the platform has to work in villages and remote areas where the networks are not there. So our platform works seamlessly. All of the information is available, all the farmer detail, the plot detail, the crop detail. The field team can go and access those information, capture this information, complete the job, come back. And as they're traveling, whenever the network comes, it just brings the information and pushes all the information. So it completely works offline all the time. And whenever the network there is connects all the time. There is a question by Lucy on terms of giving agronomy advisory. We do not give agronomy advisory until there is a project need. So we are working with one of the World Bank projects in India, where we have to support the farmers with a climate resilient program and sustainability project. So we have a set of agronomists which is then supported by the project, supported by the particular agency, and then we are using these agronomists to give advice to farmers. So technically, we do not provide agronomy advisory to our customers which are directly using our platform. But if that is a project-specific need, then which is basically either a funded project, then we basically go for those sort of services. So there is a question by Rajesh that the practices changes a lot across the country, and everyone has to practice based on the, so as we change the region, the soil changes, the pattern changes, the weather changes. So that's the beauty of our system, is that our system is configured based on all of those logics. So you can configure your crop in Karnataka. If you see the North Karnataka pattern of a crop, the North Karnataka package of practices is completely different from a South Karnataka package of practices. The weathers are different, the soils are different, the water is different. So what we do is every crop variety, every region specific, we can configure it, and those farmers are then advised and get the information based on those particular crop varieties. So it is totally configurable. You can do hundreds of crop varieties, different region specific crop, variety specific, or you can have generation specific as well. Amrita, we are working in 18 different states in India. All of the major states we are there. We are not in northeast side, but primarily in the rest of the country we are existing. We are working with multiple partners across these states. Krishna, but we can give you a trial version. We can see the scope of the work, and basis that we can plan and give you a trial version. We can discuss that separately. Any of you interested in a trial version or to have a look of the application, we can host a separate meeting with you, understanding your organization needs, and then we can share you exactly how it can help your organization. We'll be very happy to do those sessions independently along with you. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. I think we have tried to answer most of your questions, but we are all available. Please connect to us, send us email. We will also share you the details of this entire episode, and we will again have such sessions in the coming time. We'll keep you informed. Please be logged into us. We will be very happy to extend you any other support in terms of giving you trial experience of the product and how it can help your organization. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time, and look forward to a great session with you again. Thank you so much.